Hello and welcome. My name is Agustin Govea, and in this video, we will talk about Henry Ford producing the Model T car, along with the assembly line and the conveyor belt that are still used today in factories. The reason why I chose this topic is because it's interesting to see how the car itself was evolved, not only from the design of every model that he made from A, B, C, and D, all the way until the letter T, but because the way that it was produced from, obviously a few cars a day to what we have now. To from a few cars a day to what they had after, hundreds of cars every day were being produced, which was very convenient for the company. You get more cars in a less amount of time. You obviously could make way more profits out of that. The Model T was the first attempt at producing an automobile that the general public could afford. Basically, everybody in middle class, you got a job, you got full time, or something like that. You make a decent amount of salary. This was the car for you, which was the general population. Ford was trying to get the most customers for his car, and also, that'll be good. That'll be good for the car, for the sales. But not only that, but it's actually way better. It was actually his goal to make sure everybody everybody was able to get a car and drive down the road. Like, it wasn't only for an exclusive part of society. It was for everybody that worked, at least. Before the Model T, we got what we see here, like cars like this that were just, even though they were cars and they were in production, they were just too expensive to produce and just way too expensive for the public. Also, they were very inconvenient. They were unreliable. They were just hard to get. Everything about it just didn't let the business of the cars just explode or anything. It just stayed very exclusive to a very small select of people. So the Model T worked around these issues, being the first reliable, the first affordable, and also it was very easily maintainable for an automobile. You just, this automobile came with interchangeable parts. Let's say you break a door or you break a window or your tire falls out, you get a piece broken anywhere, you could easily just get it replaced. You could easily go to the manufacturer and Ford will have, a piece for it, fix your car instead of having to buy a brand new car or anything like that, or just, you have the option to go back and get a brand new piece. As we all know it, the assembly line has been around since before the Industrial Revolution. It was a big step towards the Industrial Revolution. It was helping people produce mass production at a faster rate. However, Ford did debut a conveyor belt in his factory where he was able to move the cars from one end to the other, from one station to the next. And this helped speed up the production of the car itself. This helped them produce way more cars at a fraction of the time. This cut prices. Like this saved them a lot of money. They were now producing way more cars, the same quality cars, the same parts, the same exact design, everything. Original Ford, but for less time and for less money. This means that now they can also cut the cost of their product for the public. So now the public is able to buy the car for less amount of money. and also at a faster time. Let's say they run out of product. They run out of product. Let's say they run out of cars at a lot, and then you got to not and you had to wait a certain amount of time until they got new cars. Now they got cars way faster now, more available for the public to buy at all times. We still see this practice today where people still use the assembly line and they still use the conveyor belt type method where they move the car. They move the car from one station to the next, and they have multiple people doing different types of works. The division of labor comes into play, where they add the door, or they'll add the windshield, or they'll add the hood of the car, the bumper, whatever it is, the engine, and they eventually build a complete car. The cars that you see out today in the street, this is the same method that they use. They use the same method in the factories in Ford, Chrysler, Volkswagen, Chevy. It's just very convenient. This is considered a technological innovation, and as we see in many cases, this is what helps producers produce more and cut their prices down, which gives them an advantage in the market because people want that product now. They want this one. It's better. It's nice. It's good. It's cheaper. Why would I pay so much for the same product when I could just easily get this one for for less amount of money? At the very end of around what was it, 1923, they had the car finally drop down to about a third of the price as they started. Just about a third of the price. It started off above 700 and it dropped down to almost $300. It's a fraction of the price. It was almost 800 before, and now it's almost 300. It's like 2 point something of the price. More people could afford it. More people could buy it now. And if you had enough money, you could even buy multiple cars at the same price that it used to cost to buy just one car. So it's like they were just making more sales. This was just great for Ford. They were just making a lot of sales. They were the number one brand for a long time because of the Model T. The Model T was selling so many cars. Everybody had a Model T. Everybody had one. Everybody wanted one. Everybody had one. Whereas it was just the car that everybody just needed to have. It had a lot of convenient features. For example, it was pretty fast. It was pretty reliable. You could fix it. It was also designed in a way that it was big enough for a whole family, but also small enough for the individual. So whether you are traveling with everybody or your folks, whether you're traveling with your folks or you're traveling alone, the Model T is the car for you. It has all the things that the people want, so they're not going to buy any other car. They're going to buy this car right here. And that was the first of many cars that Ford then later produced. The Model T, however, was it was just, it was just the first car. It was just the first one that took off in the market. And then the other cars, they saw what Ford was doing, and they started, doing what Ford was doing. They started imitating his business technique, his production technique, I mean. They started adding conveyor belts to their factories and producing their cars the same way. In fact, rumor has it that after the Model T, the Volkswagen took over, and and it's like that's just how it goes. When you have a successful business and it's in a competitive type of market, it's like you're going to get competition. You're going to get people that copy your product, make something very similar, but with differences to it. So people, instead of buying your product, they'll buy their product, and they'll get profits, and they'll make money off of stuff that you're doing, and then and it's completely allowed. It's completely fair game. So this was my video summary. My name is Agustin Govea. Sorry for taking the extra 30 minutes long to explain this. This was a very interesting topic, as a person that has like worked in in factories and stuff. It's very interesting to see that this is where the conveyor belt got popular, and it was to make Ford cars, which a lot of people need cars. Everybody needs a car. Everybody wants one. So it's very, very interesting to know the history of a lot of these things, and appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day.